Little did they know that an experiment combining human and animal DNA would give birth to a monster that would slowly become the greatest threat to all of humanity. This catastrophe began with two scientists, a husband and wife. The husband's name was Clive, and his wife's name was Elsa. Both were genetic scientists, scientists who combined the DNA of different animals to create entirely new creatures. They worked for a large company called NERD. Their job was to create new organisms and then use their proteins to develop medicines for dangerous diseases. They had recently created a new male creature, having already created a female one before. When the two creatures are brought face to face, they start behaving affectionately toward each other. Seeing this, Clive and Elsa realize their experiment has been a complete success, meaning these creatures could now reproduce on their own. They had no idea that this very success would later become their biggest problem. They go to their company's owner to report on the experiment. They explain that they've created a completely new species by combining the DNA of several animals and that its proteins could treat major diseases. But they also have an even bigger idea: combining human and animal DNA to create a new species that could bring about a huge breakthrough in medical science. However, their boss completely disagrees, saying the company won't pursue this research for now. Their focus should remain on developing medicines from the creatures they've already made, and if that succeeds, they can consider further research later. Hearing this, Clive and Elsa are quite disappointed, since they didn't become scientists just to make medicines, but to create something entirely new. So they decide to secretly continue this research without telling anyone. But for this experiment, they need human DNA. Elsa brings in a sample from somewhere, and when Clive asks whose DNA it is, she just says it belongs to some unknown person. Behind closed doors, they begin a dangerous experiment against nature that perhaps no one could have imagined. They combine the human DNA with animal DNA and start working day and night. Despite repeated attempts, they don't succeed, which frustrates them greatly. But one day, Elsa brings another DNA sample, saying this one is far better and that if their experiment succeeds, it'll be because of this. They get back to work, and after continuous effort, they finally succeed in combining human and animal DNA, creating an entirely new genetic sequence. But there's a huge problem. This kind of experiment is completely illegal. So Clive wants to stop, but Elsa doesn't want to end the research here. She takes the new DNA to a special lab where a machine can develop a new organism from any DNA sample placed inside it. Without delay, she puts the DNA into this incubator-like machine. Clive tells her they might be making a huge mistake. Creating a life and later killing it isn't right. If this creature has human DNA, it might behave like them too. So would they really be able to kill it like an ordinary animal once the research is done? But Elsa reasons that thousands of people die and are born every day, and if this experiment could save millions of lives, the risk is worth taking. Clive eventually agrees, and they keep watch over the machine. Then something completely unexpected happens. One evening, alarms start blaring throughout the lab. They rush over and are shocked to find the creature has developed far faster than expected and is ready to emerge. Elsa immediately reaches into the machine to pull it out, but the dangerous creature grabs her hand and pulls her in. She screams in pain. To save his wife, Clive grabs a nearby iron rod and smashes the machine's glass with full force. All the liquid inside spills out, and the mysterious creature slips out and starts running. It looks bizarre and terrifying. Clive manages to catch it and lock it in a large box. Clive then decides they should destroy the creature immediately, but Elsa stops him, saying they should first see what they've actually created. Clive doesn't listen and goes back into the room intending to kill it, but finds it already lying dead. He leaves. But Elsa, unable to let it go, quietly opens the box, only to be shocked to find no creature inside, just its shed skin. It had already slipped out of its own skin and was hiding somewhere in the lab. As Elsa turns to leave, sad, the mysterious creature suddenly appears in front of her. She's momentarily startled, as its form is now even stranger than before. Most surprisingly, it's now walking upright on two legs like a human. When Clive spots the creature from outside, he yells for Elsa to come out immediately, saying he's about to release poison gas into the room. But Elsa ignores him completely. She slowly approaches the creature and reassures it that she won't hurt it, so it needn't fear her. The creature slowly comes closer and, instead of attacking, starts sniffing her hands. Just then, Clive arrives from behind with an iron rod, and seeing it, the creature grows angry. Clive and Elsa quickly retreat. From the room, outside, Clive says enough is enough. He can't let this creature live. But Elsa convinces him to first sedate and examine it, since she wants to understand the result of their madness. They release a special gas to knock it out and begin a full examination. They discover it's a female, and remarkably, it's developing. Far faster than any normal creature. While a human takes about 20 years to mature, this creature would be fully grown in just a few months. It also has an extremely short life cycle. It would grow up quickly and then die on its own. Time passes, and the creature grows rapidly. Its limbs fully develop, and due to the mixed animal DNA, it gains several unique traits, including a long, dangerous tail capable of killing someone in a single strike. Its brain also becomes sharper. Meanwhile, Elsa grows emotionally attached to it, feeding it by hand, playing with it, and teaching it small things like a human child. One day, Elsa places some alphabet blocks in front of it and asks it to arrange them to spell her name. Instead, the creature spells nerd, having seen that word on Elsa's clothing. Elsa is delighted, realizing the creature can remember things. Around this time, Clive arrives but still dislikes the creature. He tells Elsa to keep the animal inside and hide its tail well, since it could scare people. Elsa objects, saying, not to call it an animal. When Clive asks what to call it then, Elsa says its name will be Dren, since it wrote nerd and reversed, that spells Dren. So they name it Dren. Still, Clive wants to kill Dren at any cost. He tries to drown it by luring it into water, but it breathes underwater just fine. Both are stunned, realizing this creature is truly unlike anything normal. Sometime later, Clive's brother visits and also spots Dren. Realizing they can't hide it in the lab much longer, they move Dren, hidden in a box, to an old farmhouse far from the city so no one finds out. Meanwhile, they still have to present their earlier male and female creatures to the company. When the two are brought together for the presentation, instead of mating, they violently attack each other, and within moments both are dead, costing the company millions. Everyone present is shocked, and Clive and Elsa can't understand why this happened. Investigating, they discover the female creature had naturally changed its own gender to male because it carried DNA from an animal capable of switching gender when needed. As an aside, do you know which animal can change its gender when needed? Let us know in the comments. But busy caring for Dren, Clive, and Elsa completely fail to notice this change in time, and due to this oversight, they lose their most valuable project. Meanwhile, Dren has grown considerably. Elsa treats her almost like a daughter, teaching her everything and growing to love her deeply. But one day, Dren sneaks out of the farmhouse into the woods. When Clive and Elsa find her, they're horrified to see her killing and eating a rabbit. They bring her back immediately. Later, when Elsa brings her food, Dren refuses to eat and instead spells out on her alphabet board that she feels suffocated here and is bored. She then furiously starts smashing the room, leaps up, breaks through the ceiling, and escapes outside. Clive and Elsa chase after her, only to witness another shocking sight. Large wings emerge from Dren's body, and she's about to fly away. Clive stops her, saying, "Wait. We love you. We need you. We'll keep you with us." Hearing this, Dren calms down, and her wings slowly retract. Her mind has become far more developed now. She understands people's words and can tell right from wrong. Around this time, another shocking development occurs. Dren starts developing feelings for Clive, though he always keeps his distance from her. Then one day, he discovers a truth that becomes the story's biggest twist. While reviewing Dren's files, Clive learns that the human DNA used in creating her wasn't from some unknown person, but was Elsa's own DNA. Furious upon learning this, Clive confronts her. "You should never have done this. Why did you hide something so huge from me? You created this monster from your own DNA." He storms off angrily. Gradually, Elsa's affection for Dren also changes, as she starts fearing that Dren might take her husband from her. Around this time, Dren finds a cat, but Elsa takes it away, fearing Dren might kill it like she did the rabbit. Unable to resist, though, Elsa gives the cat back to Dren the next day, only for Dren to immediately impale the cat's throat with her sharp tail, killing it. Furious, Elsa slaps Dren hard. Enraged, Dren lunges at Elsa, but instead of attacking her, she snatches a key hanging around Elsa's neck. This is when Clive and Elsa truly realize Dren is no longer what she used to be. Dangerous changes are taking place within her. Meanwhile, Elsa successfully creates the special protein the company had tasked her with developing. One day, Clive is watching Dren through his laptop camera while she sits underwater. He places his hand on the screen, and at that exact same spot, Dren touches the camera from her side too, meaning she already knew he was watching her. Clive is completely stunned. Sometime later, Clive goes alone to the farmhouse where Dren lives and calls out for her, but she's nowhere to be seen. Suddenly turning around, he finds her standing right behind him. She slowly approaches him and gestures that she has feelings for him. Clive tells her this is completely wrong. But in truth, he can no longer control his own feelings either, and he ends up in an inappropriate encounter with her. Just then, Elsa arrives, and seeing them together, her heart shatters. She leaves, without saying a word. Since Dren's sharp tail poses a lethal danger to anyone, Elsa cuts it off. This isn't an easy decision for her, as she's beginning to feel the weight of her own mistakes. Both Clive and Elsa now realize they should never have carried out this experiment. Elsa tells Clive that she's finished developing the protein the company needed, so they no longer need Dren. There's no reason to keep her alive anymore. They finally decide to put an end to Dren. But when they go to her, they're shocked by what they find. Dren's condition has already deteriorated badly. Her life cycle is coming to an end, and right before their eyes, she dies. They bury her near the farmhouse, but the story's biggest twist is still to come. Shortly after burying Dren, Clive's brother arrives, along with another company employee. Clive's brother says he knows everything, that they created a creature resembling a human since the protein the company received contains human DNA. And now he wants to see this creature with his own eyes. Clive and Elsa tell him Dren is dead and buried. But suddenly, a loud scream is heard from exactly where Dren was buried. Everyone rushes over, and their blood runs cold because Dren isn't in her grave. She's standing on the roof above. She has come back to life, but this time she's far more powerful and dangerous. Her large wings have emerged again, and her severed tail has regrown. In the next moment, Dren attacks everyone. She brutally kills Clive's brother and the employee with him. Clive is also badly injured and knocked unconscious. Dren then goes straight for Elsa and grabs her. Here we learn another major truth. Dren, too, had changed her own gender, since she carried DNA from that same gender-switching animal, meaning Dren is no longer female, but now male. He then forces himself on Elsa, but Clive, gathering his strength, drives a large piece of wood into Dren's body from behind, forcing him to release Elsa. In the very next moment, though, Dren pulls out the wood and attacks Clive with it. Elsa quickly grabs a large rock and strikes Dren's head with all her strength. She's about to strike again but hesitates, realizing she's about to kill with her own hands the very creature she created, one that carries her own DNA. In that moment of hesitation, Dren seizes the chance and drives his sharp tail straight through Clive, killing him instantly. Devastated by her husband's death, Elsa, without a second thought, picks up the rock again and strikes Dren repeatedly until he finally dies for good. Some time later, we see Elsa meeting with the company's owner. Here we learn Elsa is pregnant, but shockingly, the child isn't Clive's, but Dren's. The company owner tells her that the protein obtained from Dren has been enormously profitable for the company, so they now want to continue this research. And the unborn child could become the most crucial part of that research. Since Elsa has lost her husband and risked everything, even her own life, for this research, the company decides to compensate her with a huge sum of money. Elsa, for her part, knows full well how dangerous this research is. But as a genetic scientist, despite herself, she cannot bring herself to stop it here, and with that, the story ends, leaving behind one question. Should humans create everything they're capable of creating? Because some doors, once opened, can never be closed again.